So it's a cake made out of fajitas. A fajita cake. That's a thing? I think you're high. Anyway, let's marinate on that. What's up, guys? So today we're gonna make a fajita cake. Now, I want to start off by saying I don't know that this is really the most appropriate name for the title. It's a cake made with tortillas and fajita veggies and meat and black beans and shit. But fajita cake feels off. However, that's what I've seen it been called before. So I first found this recipe a couple years ago. It was through one of those like Tasty or whatever, Facebook videos that you scroll across. I decided to make it and it was really good. So a couple years later, friends been asking me to make it. I decided I'm gonna make it again, but this time I'm gonna put my own spin on it and I'm gonna make it better than the last time. So whatever you wanna call it, we're gonna make a fajita cake. By the way, let me know in the comments down below what you think we should be calling this. I swear to God. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is get this marinade made for our chicken. So we're gonna take 2 good-sized cloves of garlic that you peeled and smashed with the side of your knife, about a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of onion powder, and a good-sized tablespoon of ancho chili powder. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna throw all this in our mixing bowl. Now after that, take about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, add that in, and then 1 lime. Now whenever you cut a lime, or any citrus for that matter that you're gonna juice, roll it first to get it all loosened up. Cut that guy in half. And then we're gonna juice the whole lime. And now we hold our hand underneath as we juice to catch any seeds so they don't go in. We're gonna whisk this guy up. And now for our chicken, we're gonna use about 1.5 pounds of chicken. Now I'm using boneless, skinless thighs because thighs are my favorite cut of meat. However, you can use whatever the hell you want. This is your dish. You use your favorite cut of chicken or any other meat for that matter. Steak, carnitas, shrimp, however you want to make it. And then we're just going to combine that marinade. And now once you have your chicken and your marinade combined, move it around a little bit, make sure all those spices stay all mixed up, flatten it out, and you're going to stick it in the fridge and let it marinate for no less than 30 minutes, no more than 8 hours. If you go more than 8 hours, it's going to f your chicken up. It's going to get a weird texture and everything. About halfway through, flip the chicken over to make sure everything's getting moved around nicely. Okay, so while our chicken's marinating, we're going to seed and dice 8 Roma tomatoes. You're going to cut in half. You're going to take a spoon. Just going to work around that core with all those like slimy seeds. Just get that out of there. Just like, get in there. You get in there. Like that. And we just come across. We dice. And we're going to do this 8. Wait, no, not 8. Not 8. That's a lie. That's a damn lie. We're going to do this 7 more times. It's probably a good time to mention that we're doing this because we're making pico de gallo. And we're going to put some of this pico de gallo in the cake. We're also just going to eat some with some chips because this shit's delicious. And then once you've got all those cut up, just throw that shit in a big bowl. Next up is red onion. We're going to use, I don't know, maybe the whole thing, maybe half the thing. We're going to play it by ear. Take a look at it. This is how you want to do it too. You just want to look at everything. And you're going to decide how much you want. You're going to make it yours. All right, so it looks like we're using a little more than half an onion. Now our next guy is going to be a jalapeno. We're going to use 1 whole jalapeno. Trim the tip off, slice in half, and And then if you want, you can take the seeds out, get a little bit of that spice out. I don't mind a little spicy, but I don't want like too much. So I'm just gonna seed 1/2 of it. And now, you guessed it, we're just gonna throw this shit in the bowl too. Okay, now guess what? You just barehanded a whole ass jalapeno, so don't be a fucking idiot. Wash your hands. Then we're gonna take a bunch of cilantro, a literal bunch of cilantro, tear off where most of the leaves meet the stems, and actually, we're gonna use a different knife. And now this is a pretty huge bunch of cilantro, I'm not gonna lie, so we're not gonna use this whole thing. We're gonna use about half of it. Just throw it in the bowl, like everything else. And that's okay too, because we're still gonna use this later. So we're just gonna take this and put it aside. My kitten's passed down on the floor behind me and there's a cilantro leaf on his head. And it's f***ing adorable. And now, another lime. Again, roll it, cut it, squeeze. Juicing lemons and limes are an excellent way to find out if you have any scratches on your hand. And now last but certainly not least, we need a little bit of salt. So we're gonna salt to taste. So I'm gonna start off with just, maybe 2.5 good sized pinches of kosher salt. Always use kosher, it tastes better. And then we're just gonna take a spoon and we're gonna mix this stuff around. And when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Oh, it's so f***ing good. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do now is we're gonna get our onions and peppers and chicken all ready for roasting. So we'll start with 2 red onions. I've already got them halved and skinned and everything here. And we're just gonna slice straight down. Cuts don't need to be perfect, not even a little bit. And now after you get them cut, you're gonna take a baking sheet, line it with foil. You're gonna hit that foil with a little bit of olive oil. Foil. Somebody tell me to shut the fuck up. Then once you do that, get your onions, break them up just a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm just gonna put them on here. Then we're gonna repeat the process with 4 bell peppers. And I have 1 of each color, just for a little bit of, color, and a little bit of difference in flavor. Green peppers are a little bit more on the bitter side. However, the yellow and red and orange onions are a tad bit sweeter. Now once you've got everything, good little mix, all nice and incorporated together. And do the same thing that we did with the onions. Just gonna line them on this baking sheet. And lastly, our chicken. And you can actually just take that marinade just for a little extra flavor and you can just drizzle it over your veggies. Waste not, want not. But still, we're gonna take some more of our olive oil, hit the top of the peppers and onions. And then we've got our spice mixture here. Now this spice mixture is 1 teaspoon each of salt, pepper, ancho chili powder, oregano, cumin, Spanish smoked paprika, and then just a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. So we're just gonna go right across, just like that. And then just get in there, kind of work this all around. Make sure everything gets a nice, good coating. Just get it in there. And now what we're gonna do, so now we're gonna pop this in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes or until the chicken reaches 180 degrees internal temperature. That is if you're using thighs. If you're using breast or wings, 165 degrees Fahrenheit. But thighs you wanna cook a little bit higher so they get a little bit better of a texture and get all that pink cooked out of them. How? Why are there so many flies? What the fuck happened? I'm gonna murder these fucking flies. So, our fillings are out of the oven. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna cut this chicken up. I'm just gonna slice. A little on the thin side. Oh man, that's so fucking good. The kernel, this is finger looking good. All right, so now comes the fun part. Now we're actually gonna build this fajita cake. So we're gonna take our tortillas, large tortillas, as well as our pepper and onion and chicken, and then also our pico, and also a can of black beans. So you'll just take a tortilla, you're gonna stick it down in the springform pan, get it kind of centered. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just gonna take a small handful of each. A spoonful of black beans and a spoonful of pico. And we're just gonna repeat that process. Not now, I'm filming! Dude, will you get up and like kill something, please? He's got that like I just woke up hatred in his eyes. All right, so now we're ready for the top layer. So we're gonna put it on, and we're gonna try to like fold these edges in as much as we can and try to create like a tortilla lid or fajita lid, however you wanna call it. Now, once you've got that lid sealed on there nice and good, you're gonna take a piece of foil and you're just gonna cover your springform pan. And once you have that on there, I'm gonna stick it back in the oven, 375, about 15 to 20 minutes just to get this guy heated through, and then we'll be ready to finish this guy up. All right, we are out of the oven, and we've let this guy rest for about 15 minutes before touching it. So let's go ahead and peel this foil back. We have a cake. All right, so now that we're out of the oven, we are going to ice this cake. So we're gonna take a spatula, and I'm using a rubber spatula because for some reason I don't have an offset one. If you have an offset spatula, that is the most recommended one to use. I'm just gonna take a good amount of sour cream. Just gonna spread it around the top. Spread them. And then remember that cilantro we had left over from earlier? We're just gonna sprinkle that across the top. And for just a little bit more color and a little bit of added smoky sweetness, we're just gonna sprinkle some more of our smoked paprika on here. That's fucking beautiful. All right, so let's see what this guy looks like. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Well, the big question is, how does it taste? Yo, that's so fucking good. Yeah, you guys need to make this for yourselves. That is excellent. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for putting up with what is clearly my first attempt at editing video. If you did like the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more of my upcoming content on this channel, go ahead and click that bell so you get notifications every time I upload a new video. Also, don't forget that I do stream on Twitch, where every Sunday I will do a cooking tutorial based on the video from this week, as well as random gaming streams throughout the week. Links to that, along with my Twitter and Instagram and anything else, down in the description below. This is the part where I'm supposed to have some clever conclusion to the video, something that I'll say every single time. I didn't plan that far ahead.